Were you impressed with City's reaction to being 3-0 down at half-time, with their performance in the second half, to pull it back, to claw it back to 3-2, right at the death, to set up what was an entertaining finish? What do you make of it?
Yeah, like we said in the comments at half-time, you want a reaction from Manchester City and Pep to reset, and they started the second half with an early goal to set them up how they wanted to be. And you'd expected Manchester City to keep dominating again. It was subtle contrast from the game from last week in the league, where City dominated first half, and then Liverpool got into the second half. The second half of this game today was sort of City seemed to have that belief a little bit more. A little bit of more quality in the right time, the right passing. Jesus' chance 1v1. That could have been a whole different mindset. But the reaction, Pep would be happy with the players, but the damage was done for the first half. With the keeper, the gift on the second goal, it gave them a mountain to climb. And they had the moments, but I think Liverpool were pretty happy and comfortable. They were game managing the second half. They weren't really going to kill the game. They were picking their moments, trying to break Manchester City on their counter-attack. And they're into another final. And I think the Manchester City fans were really disappointed with the starting lineup and how that first half went.
What about yourself, Jose? How do you think the approach from Liverpool was in the second half? The fact that they allowed Manchester City to come back in, almost equalising right at the death.
Well, to be honest, it happens to City the other day. You know, when they start the second half, Liverpool scored the goal as well. So it happens today. That's the last thing Liverpool wanted, obviously, but it happens. But then, like Michael said, more or less the game was more or less controlled. I believe it was a 50-50, really, no, apart from Gabriel Jesus' chance, that Alisson was great and he should have scored that as well, and the chance would have been completely different. But in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, obviously, that's why Klopp is the manager and not me. I believe, you know, that the approach, just not thinking in this game, thinking in the future, should have been a little bit more different in the second half, and maybe go and try to kill them off and try to score 1 or 2 more goals, because, you know, and Michael can tell you as well, as a player, mentally affects a lot. And obviously Manchester City, they believe it at the end that they could actually get something from this. They actually nearly did. You know, they had 2 great chances, Fernandinho and Marret, and you still keep them alive for the Premier League as well. When if you beat them, for example, today 5-0 or 5-1 because they scored early or something like that, mentally wise, you have, oh my God, they run us, they are behind in the lead. And mentally wise, you approach it differently. So that's why I believe I will approach the game differently the second half. But fair play to Liverpool. They won fairly, in my opinion, and in the final, another final.
Michael, when I'm looking way back 2 hours ago when we saw the team news, 2.5 hours ago, 7 changes for both sides. But it was such a big contrast because Liverpool bringing in the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold into the side, whereas Manchester City, after an extremely grueling trip to the Wanda Metropolitano to take on Atletico Madrid in midweek, also made 7 changes, but very contrasting in terms of strength. Do you think it was a mistake from Pep Guardiola? Should he have gone all out here? Because there's also the psychological impact of losing against Liverpool here.
Yes, that was my concern before the game. Yes, they've had a difficult trip. We wondered how much the Atletico Madrid game was took out for them physically and mentally. They stayed down in London. They've been away from home for a long period of time. And that first half showed that. They were so lethargic and so slow on the build-up that it played into Liverpool's hands. And Liverpool just grew and grew game after game. And Pep, it's not the first time he surprised people in big games and big moments. He does surprise lines up. He did it last week when he played Jesus for the first time since January. He did it in Champions League final. That's Pep's way. How can I really have an argument about how Pep wants to set his side up? He put trust in his squad, and unfortunately the squad let him down today. But they did have the moments. You know, Liverpool took the foot off the gas, and Jesus had his chance, Mahrez had a chance, and there was a few half chances right near the death, but he just left it too late. In that last 5 minutes, it was moments that he had a bit of belief that he could get something out of the game, but for me, they left it too late in the first half. It was really, really disappointing. I think Pep would be disappointed in how the players went about the first half. The intensity was far too low, and Liverpool just grew in confidence, and their desire to win second balls, to press high, just caused Manchester City huge problems from the start.
Yeah, if you weren't aware, Manchester City, after travelling to Madrid, they flew into London and ended up training there at Millwall's training ground, a championship side. So not the most conducive environment heading into an FA Cup semi-final against your fiercest rivals, Liverpool Football Club.